Okay, people, we are supposedly online, so that's good. I am a little late today. I mean to do this at 12 o'clock every day, but I've been uploading content and editing content, doing all that. So
today's video, I'm going to be showing you
subscribe
25
and like.
terrifying TikToks.
So make sure you go here and do this, and then do that.
If you guys like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, click the subscribe button down below, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I post every Sunday and sometimes Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And other than that, let's just get right on into the video. Our first TikTok is with the user FireLlama1441. She tells us a story about how she believes to have spoken to a demon while she was staying at a hospital. In honor of spooky season, I thought I would tell you the story, which I believe to my core is real, about the time that I had a conversation with a paranormal, supernatural entity, if you will. This all started right in the beginning of COVID. While you guys were all freaking out about COVID, I was freaking out because I had just been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It was very scary. I've never been sick like that before. So obviously I had a lot of thoughts about death, a lot of thoughts about like what my future looks like. And because of COVID, the hospital had all these new protocols about patients coming in. So I had to do all of my cancer stuff by myself because my husband, my mom, no one was allowed inside the hospital except the patient. So when I had to get my thyroid removed, I have a little tiny scar right here. I had to go in by myself. So my husband drops me off outside of the hospital, and like any normal person, I was scared. I never had major surgery before. The cancer word is very scary. My husband couldn't go in with me. So then I change into, one of those cute 90s, and I'm put into...
Hello, person watching, and the person who chatted. Sorry, I can't see your chat.
Onto a floor almost by myself. Like, I know there was one other person across the way from me because I heard them coughing a lot. And then there was the two nurses that were on that floor. Other than that, the floor was empty. It was very quiet in there. And I have not been giving any like drugs or anything like that yet, okay? I'm just waiting in bed for my surgery to start, okay? So while I'm laying there, a man comes in. He's blonde, super pale, light blue eyes, and he's wearing like all black. And at first I think he's wearing one of those like priest collars, but it's just like his outfit. It wasn't actually one of those collars. But in my mind, I kind of like I was like, oh, he must be like a chaplain. Like those are, if you don't know, a chaplain is like a religious person that comes into hospitals and like talks to patients and stuff to make them feel better. Anyway, so that's who I assumed he was. So he came in and he said, oh, you must be Milena. And again, I thought he worked for the hospital. So I said, yes. And he said, oh, you're here by yourself? And I thought that was a weird comment because it's the hospital protocol that I couldn't have any family members with me. So I was like, yes, my husband had to drop me off. And he goes, oh, you're married. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and do you like your life? And at this point, I started to get like a really weird feeling about this guy. And he was just like standing like against the wall talking to me. And I was like, yes, I really like my life. And he goes, were you scared when you found out you had cancer? And again, I just assumed he had like a reference sheet about my illness, And I was like, I am scared, but like my doctors have all reassured me that like this is the best cancer to get and I'm going to be fine. And he goes, do you feel like you're going to be fine? And I was like, yes, I do. And again, this man is just like really intently staring at me. And he said, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. And he's like, are you afraid of dying? And I, at that point, felt like he did not work for the hospital. And I was getting really afraid. Like, I could feel myself getting really afraid. And then all of a sudden, monitors started beeping, right? Like, a lot of monitors started going off. And the two nurses that were on that floor came in, and they were like, honey, you need to calm down. Your heart rate is too high. And I was like, what? And they're like, you need to take a deep breath. And while they're doing all of this, that man is still standing there, and they are not acting like he is right there. Like, I'm looking at him, but they are not. And once they were able to get the beeping to stop, the nurse said, well, it's time for surgery anyways. Let's move you to the operating room. Again, this man is just standing there, and they are wheeling me out of this little room that I'm in, and he goes, well, I hope we don't meet anytime soon, Milena. And it was ominous as fuck, you guys. Like, I was scared. Like, I really felt so scared. And again, I wasn't on any drugs. And afterwards, I spoke to my husband about this, and I was like, that's kind of creepy. And he, again, because no one was there, he was like, I'm sure it was just someone that works, that's a chaplain, and he was just saying, like, he hopes he doesn't see me again, like, I'm not going to be sick anymore, right? But it still lingered. Like, I felt very cold, like, very weird feelings after this. So I called the hospital, like, the next week, because they had such a crazy protocol about who can come in and out of the hospital. I thought it was a little weird that they were letting a chaplain in. So I called the
Sounds like the Grim Reaper or death to me.
Hospital about a week later, and I was like, hi, I'm just wondering if you're allowing chaplains into the hospital right now because of COVID. And they said starting last month they were not allowing chaplains or any, like, extra people into the hospital. So I wanted to be like, who the fuck did I talk to then? Yeah, I think about that guy all the time. I can't even call him a guy. Like, I don't know what he is. And I still don't know who, like, if it was like a demon or like a Grim Reaper, but I will never forget that. And I think it was real. My husband thinks maybe I was just, like, very stressed out and, like, I had a lot going on. But, like, I know that shit was real. And, like, the fact that the nurses didn't even acknowledge his presence, I don't know. You know who it could be. Or if you think maybe I was just tripping. But that is my spooky story.
One thing I think is very interesting is that she automatically jumps to the term demon. I feel like he did ask some interesting questions where maybe there could be malicious intent behind it. It also could have just been, thought-provoking, ghosty questions, I guess. I don't think there was anything specifically done to show that he was for sure evil. Honestly, it could have just been like the spirit of a chaplain who passed on and was visiting her. But I do agree that the questions were a little bit odd. You think in that sense it probably would be more like they try to be comforting and ask, like, comforting questions, whereas this seems to have kind of made her uncomfortable and set her on edge, obviously, since she thinks it was a demon. I do 100% believe her story because I have heard so many things about people being tended to by nurses that apparently didn't exist, or seeing someone, walk into their room in a hospital. And I feel like there's a lot of energy in hospitals from people who have passed on, and also just, like, trauma and, like, emotions are high at hospitals. So I
had to throw it in here right away, just as an honorable mention, and that is, of course, the Mari Man. So take a look at this. I'm sure most of you might have heard of this, maybe even seen it if you're lucky. It's a modern geoglyph discovered by air on June 26, 1998. It appears to depict an indigenous Australian man hunting birds or wallabies with a boomerang. It lies on a plateau at Finnis Springs in central South Australia. No one knows who made it. Now, that's what's amazing about stuff like this. Now, I understand to an extent, big sorts of glyphs like this in different forms exist around the world. And it always amazes me because how do they do this, right? Like, imagine the effort and the coordination involved and the time it took to do this. I mean, this is over a humongous area, hence why you can see it from the air. If this was a size, someone made a little shadow of themselves out of rocks that was only, the height of a normal human, you wouldn't even be able to see it from up here. So clearly this is huge. Not to mention it also looks very realistic. It's a very true depiction of a man holding a boomerang or about to throw it or whatever. It's really cool. With certain things, it's like, how did they do it without anyone noticing while they were doing it? Now, of course, in this case, this looks like it's probably in the middle of nowhere, so I don't think there were much passerbys saying, hey, what's that guy doing? But still, had to throw this in there. This is really cool. I would really love to know if any of you have actually had the pleasure of seeing this from the air. I don't know if this is something that's seen by many, or if this is really off the beaten path, and most people will never see this. Okay, next up we have an island off the coast of, I think, northern Queensland somewhere. I'm going to look in a second. Called Hook Island. Now, I've never heard of this. I've heard of a lot of different things in Australia, but it's so big. There's tons of things most people, might never hear of. This apparently is a very interesting place. You'll have to let me know your opinions and thoughts in the comments. First of all, this is the first time I'm introduced to it. Is with this. What do you guys think of the Hook Island photo? So supposedly, I think we've all heard of like Loch Ness, right? Some sort of sea monster, lore. Whether it's real or not sure.
As far as I know, islands are usually above the water, don't you think? Probably called Hog Island because of Captain Cook, who was the first Englishman to discover Australia, not the first man to discover Australia.
Or let me just preface this with saying this is not a theory; it's a fact. There are things in our ocean that we don't know about, right? They might not be grand in size like this. They might not even be weird, but there is no doubt that there are things in the water, in our oceans, which make up most of our planet and goes very deep that we don't know about. We know this. They claim that we know more about space than we do our own oceans. So let me preface that. That's definitely a fact. Now, when
We Australians know more about America than we do about Australia.
we come up with photos or videos that look weird like this, well, it's hard to know. I think that there's always a possibility that there's some freaky creatures in the water. There might be some big, prehistoric like creatures in the water. We just don't know. I think to blindly believe in all that would be a little bit naive. And I think to blindly write them all off as fake would be equally naive. So I will sit on the fence with this, but this looks pretty crazy just because this is from 1964. So it's not like this was taken a week ago with a plethora of millions of different apps and filters and Photoshop capabilities. I realize you can even edit an old photo, but I'm just saying these photos have been circulating for a while from what I've just found out. And this is pretty interesting if this was real. It's like a giant tadpole or like almost like a snake. I'm not really sure what to compare it to, but it's huge. And if that this Daily Mail, geez. But you can see this was pictured. There's a more modern picture of a guy that was pretty scared and found out that this was a school of fish surrounding him. Now that does look pretty weird and eerie, but once you find out that that makes sense that it could be thousands of fish in a school, like when they travel like that, kind of makes sense that it would look like that.
That's exactly what they look like. A big, dark area. When they get close to you, you see all the fish.
It still does look weird, but at least this has an explanation. Maybe when this school of fish starts traveling fast, it doesn't look like a blob anymore. It might look like a more streamlined shape like we saw in the Australia photo. Regardless, this Hook Island place is pretty interesting. I would pull up the wiki on it. It's one of the Whitsunday Islands off the coast of Australia, Queensland to be exact. It's almost uninhabited, quite rugged, and almost completely contained within a section of the Whitsunday Islands National Park.
Whitsunday Islands are Bowen Proserpine. About, I don't know, 5 hours, between 4 and 6 hours from Cairns. I think about an hour or something from Mackay.
The island has two prominent geographical features, the Nara and Makona inlets, two fjord-like recesses that are used as anchorages for the Whitsunday tourist fleet. The island's northern coast is noted for its colorful underwater coral groves, to which snorkeling and diving enthusiasts are attracted. Then it mentions that in '64, when circulated globally, famous photos of a sea monster was visible. The best known of the Hook Island sea monster photos is familiar to many. The two or three others are less familiar. Features a gigantic tadpole-like monster supposedly encountered in Stonehaven Bay, Hook Island, by Robert Lesurek and his family during December of 1964. Now, in other news, something that did happen there that's pretty freaky is on the 12th of February 2008, a yacht ran aground at Cape Cove. The yacht became wedged on dangerous rocks, requiring the rescue of 37 people by helicopter. The incident was Australia's largest helicopter rescue operation from a vessel. At least 2 people have died from Urcandi jellyfish. Holy smokes. While snorkeling Off.
Yurakanji jellyfish. Really small, very clear. They swim around, you don't even really see them.
Of Hook Island. Some of the oldest archaeological sites ever found in Eastern Australia are the caves and midden of the Ngaro people on Hook Island. A site at Nara Inlet is the oldest indication of Aboriginal occupation in the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Wow, this place is just filled with interesting things. What is this, by the way? They're extremely venomous, rare jellyfish. And of course, they inhabit the northern marine waters of Australia. They cost the Australian government $3 billion annually through tourism losses and medical costs associated with stings? Holy smokes! Look at that thing. That's it. Is that what it really is? This little guy can make such an impact and cost the country.
If you get stung by a jellyfish, bathe the thing in vinegar and get to a hospital.
$3 billion annually. Well, you certainly learn something new every day. Wow. If you happen to get stung by these little guys, even a small amount of venom includes excruciating muscle cramps in the arms and legs. Wow, that's scary. Severe pain in the back and kidneys, a burning sensation on the skin and face, headaches, nausea, restlessness, sweating, vomiting, and an increase in heart rate and blood pressure. Oh, is that all? These effects are caused by the release of, they are testing my brain ability today. Catecholamines. Catecholamines, that's what I'm going to go with. The venom also contains a sodium channel modulator. Boy, these little guys are nuts. The sting is moderately irritating. The spear syndrome is delayed for 5 to 120 minutes, averaging around 30 minutes. These last from hours to weeks. They usually require hospitalization. Anyway, yeah, that is crazy. What a rabbit hole we went down with Hook Island, just that region. Very fascinating. It looks very beautiful, but you definitely got to be careful there. Whoa, lots of interesting stuff happening there. Okay, 2 French-speaking guys encounter a frill-necked lizard in Australian outback. From the coast all the way inland to the outback. Australia will rock your world. Take a look at this. Holy crap! Whoa, dude, that's scary as hell! Get off!
Don't worry, they're not dangerous. The only best thing they'll do is claw you or bite you. That's about all. But usually they don't come anywhere near humans like that.
Jeez, dude. Oh, no, don't go for the face. No way. Is that thing gonna spray venom or something?
No.
I love how he's like, bonjour.
G'day, mate.
These guys are either brave or crazy. I can't tell which.
They're foreigners. They don't know the danger.
Okay, how scary is that thing? Look it was so chill on the ground. Look, you could barely see it. But then you walk up. Clearly, so I've never seen this. I have seen it. Actually, I've seen it in Jurassic Park. Anyone remember the original Jurassic Park? The dinosaur that did that and flared out, and it was the big guy. I can't remember the character's name. Big guy, curly hair, glasses. He got out in the soaking rain, and unfortunately, I believe he had a bad encounter with this thing right here. I didn't know these were real. Who knew that they were in Australia this whole time? These are...
They flare out their piece of skin flat thing to scare away people. Scare away anything that might attack them. I've never seen one do that. Usually lizards run away from you, not to you.
Crazy. That's got to be a defense mechanism. You got to give me some facts here. Do these bite? Do these sting? Do these spray venom? If they don't do any of those things, I don't care. They're scary as hell.
No, they don't do any of those things. Flaring out its thing is about all it does. It might bite, maybe scratch, but they don't spray venom or anything.
That is super cool and terrifying at the same time. What a crazy animal. And this thing literally matches the outback color scheme. Australia is literally like another planet. I cannot stress that enough. I saw what that thing did to Newman in Jurassic Park. I'll pass. There we go. That's what I'm saying. The way it ran has me crying. Good day to you, sirs, and goodbye. Speedwalks with intensity. I want to see how this ends here. Look at how it runs.
That not be him.
Why the hell does it run like that? Look at it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just do that.
I'm at a loss for words. All right, for this next one, we have some more crazy wildlife that defies logic again. An Australian tarantula hawk wasp dragging off a huntsman spider to lay her egg on its paralyzed body. That is, the rest, I'll save you the details. You can let your mind run. It's not nice, and it doesn't sound pretty either. Jeez Louise. Take a look at this image. Yeah. Biggest spider, remember, for an American here. Spider way too big. Shouldn't ever be seen a spider that big.
We have spiders in Australia that are bird spiders. So they're big because they catch small birds and eat them.
And you have this wasp that is, again, should never be that big. You have two Goliaths going at it here. Clearly, the tarantula hawk wasp has won. And point is, cheers to whoever got this camera this close. I don't care if they're zoomed in, they're close enough. Yeah. Don't ever find me.
That is so extremely rare that you just wouldn't believe it.
Near this site, right here. No thanks. And we have another video of this little guy. A totally different video, different people. I don't know how. I actually kind of am amazed the cameraman was able to have a zoomed in picture that had this thing in the frame the whole time. Can we just talk about that for a sec? How the hell did he manage that? Second of all, yeah, this thing looks pissed. And it's freaky. Like, they're freaky. Let's get real. They are not afraid to climb on any part of your body. And there's something uneasy about staring an animal into the eyes with its mouth open that wide. Now, in cuter animal news, we have an endangered Australian sea lion. I had to, you had to throw a good clip in there to offset the freaky stuff, right? This thing is, this is a cutie. Look at it, right? I love the little whiskers. It's got like bluish eyes. It's just cute. An Australian sea lion. This looks like Pixar's next lead character. I can see that. I can see that for sure. Now, back to wild things in Australia that just, don't make much sense. We have Keith Spassford. Does that name ring a bell? If it doesn't, this was a 14-year-old Australian teen who wanted to explore the world. So what did he do? He snuck into a plane wheel well. Well, that wheel well opened midair and the boy fell out. The photographer was just testing his new lenses and was shocked when he found out he wasn't just taking a picture of a plane. Rather, he caught a plane with this boy falling out. Talk about a 1 in a billion chance of catching this, especially for the time. This doesn't look new. This looks like it was decades ago. Now, of course, stating the obvious, this is tragic, right? I'm assuming this person passed away. Also, just a word of advice. I'm not an expert. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I can tell you, yeah, don't be sneaking onto planes. Don't be sneaking into external parts of the plane. Just a word of advice. Yeah, probably don't do that. This was crazy, right? I think people do kind of not the best, not the smartest things when they're teenagers, but yeah, this is pretty crazy. Sad too, because obviously you don't want this to happen to anyone. Second of all, he wanted to explore. I don't know. I like it. Now, this was something tested, I believe, a couple years ago. Maybe it was a few years ago. Road markings are usually reflective, so I think that's why something like this hasn't been adopted on a big, like golden paint or something.
It's a Christmas beetle. Around December, we get plague proportions of them. They got green and all different colours. They're not always gold. There's a lot of different colours in them. And they're like those black rhino beetles. They're like them. So they're real beetles. We only get them at a certain time of year.
It's really cool. I don't know. I like it. Now, this was something tested, I believe, a couple years ago. Maybe it was a few years ago. Road markings are usually reflective, so I think that's why something like this hasn't been adopted on a big scale because, don't fix what's not broken, right? I think the reflective markings work fine. I gotta admit, this is pretty cool, though, because these are legit glow in the dark road marking.
We have needed them for so long. You wouldn't believe how long we've needed them. Because the cat's eyes reflect, but they get ripped off. When trucks and that go over them, they fall off the ground and they go off the road. When it's wet and the road is completely covered with water, you can't see the fake white lines. You just can't see them. So we've needed these glowing lines for ages.
I mean, look at that. It's like you're driving in a futuristic video game, or you're living Tron in real life. Look at that. They look like they're white, but then when it's dark, they're literally like this glow in the dark color. You would think of like that kind of electric green color, and it contrasts so well with the surroundings. So it really shows you where the lines are, where to keep your vehicle. Very cool. And I suppose something we should always have on deck in case we need it. But yeah, I think the reflective markings.
The best thing about them is they charge up through the day, so they suck in the daylight through the day, and then they release it at night when it gets dark. So good. Because I don't know how many times you've gone down a road and you're like, where are the lines? They've faded away, or they haven't been painted lately, or they've just retarded the road. They're not always visible.
Are probably fine for now, but I gotta admit, this is cooler. Not gonna lie, this is one of the coolest buildings I've seen in a while, and something I could start featuring more. This is the Majorca building, or Majorca, in Melbourne, Australia. That is very, very fascinating. I don't know what it's constructed out of, but it's this really cool kind of earthy blue color, right? It's got an interesting finish on it, and then of course golden accents. The intricacies are through the roof. I still will never quite comprehend how buildings like this even exist. I think everything about them, down to every little detail, is just so amazing and so creative. And I just can't imagine the thought and work that goes into the process of.
Melbourne has a lot of different cultures and peoples and that sort of thing from all different walks of life, all different countries, all that because people come from wherever they're coming from in the world to Sydney or Melbourne, and then they work their way north, and then they go home. I'm in Cairns, which is usually the last place they see before they go home.
Of this becoming a thing. And then you think a building is such a grand scale. This is cool. Does anyone recognize this? Have you seen this building in Melbourne? And for the last post, I could go forever with these. I gotta cut myself off so it's not a 2-hour video. 2 fishermen in Australia have caught a bizarre doomsday fish. Holy smokes. What is that? That thing is absolutely terrible.
It's shiny like a wolf herring. The head is like a horse, which is weird. But the body is like a wolf herring. So I don't know, really.
Terrifying. Right? It's almost got like a horse or something, like head. The eyes are way too big. This has got to be heavy. How did they catch this? Where did they catch this? Australia? Got some explaining to do. This is crazy. I don't even know what it is. What's funny is people in the comments don't really know what it is either. So if you do know, please let me know. I'm going to cut it there. That is, wow. Another amazing episode of just looking at things that blow my mind. Things that do defy logic, at least my logic, in Australia. What a wild place. It's like the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to learning about somewhere. Learning about any place is a great experience. But Australia, deep in the woods, was intended to capture footage of wildlife, but what it recorded in the dead of night was far more unsettling. A tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes slowly emerged from the water. It stood motionless for about 10 seconds, staring into the distance, before sinking back to the dark depths.
It's a swamp monster.
Moments later, a human figure appeared, looking disoriented and unsteady, before walking away from the river. Could this camera have captured a shape-shifting creature in action? YouTubers. Jasco and Benjamin settled into their tent, with Jasco reading aloud a letter from a viewer who had previously explored the same forest. However, their calm night took a turn when this happened.
And we set up the campfire. We were laughing nervously, but it felt as if something or someone was watching us the entire time. 9 p.m. As it got dark, so I'm assuming this was probably like summertime, because it gets dark around 9 o'clock in the summertime. Mm-hmm. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. So as it got dark, we decided to look for this graveyard that people spoke about. Throughout our walk, we would notice strange. What the was that? What the was that? But that was really weird. I don't.
I think I already watched this one.
Wait, no. Literally listen, man. Something's approaching us right now.
A strange sound echoed from outside, as if something or someone was approaching.
It separates like, oh, it's just personal or like local folklore to, hey, there's some weird shit going on here. Like, ah! What's that? Who's there? What? Somebody just hit the tent. Who's there? Who's there? But something just hit the tent.
By something rushing against the tent. Disturbing noises and eerie evidence captured on camera suggested they weren't alone.
You are not alone. I am here with you.
Jasco quickly woke Benjamin, and they decided they'd had enough. Jasco stepped outside to confront whatever was there, but instantly regretted it.
Not bad, actually. Hey. Alright, Ben, I'll be right back, okay? Who is out there? Hello? Hello?
Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. Every time they say hello, we do that. Every time they say they're alone, we sing You Are Not Alone. I can't say I'll keep that up though.
Oh my god, it's so hard to see.
Okay, he instantly regretted it. Why? Because it's foggy and rainy. I don't see nothing there.
Hey. What the Jazz! What? Ben? Jazz! What? Come here! Someone's in tent! I'm coming.
You gotta be able to run fast.
What's wrong? No, there's someone at the... What? There was someone at the tent. There's someone... Here? Yes. Hey, someone, grabbed the zipper. Bro, what? Someone grabbed the zipper in the tent. Hold on, I thought I just saw... Who's over there? What is that? There's somebody out there. Somebody is out there. What the... you want? Are you sure they okay, then we should get out of here. We should. Get out of here. Oh, get the out of here.
I get tired of people just talking and talking and talking.
Go! Go! A tall, dark figure was moving among the trees ahead of them. Fearing for their safety, the father decided it was best to leave immediately. While camping in the woods, a group of friends encountered something truly disturbing. A creature was spotted peeking out from behind a tree. It had light-colored fur, small dark eyes, a smaller than human nose, and tiny lips. The person who captured the footage believes it could be a smaller-sized Sasquatch. The team from the YouTube channel Chamos was exploring a haunted forest when their adventure took a frightening turn.
¿Qué? What? Hey, who's on a fridge, velho?
I really need to download these, edit them up before I put them up, guys. The thing is, though, you find them and then you click something.
They noticed a light in the distance, which turned out to be candles with someone standing nearby.
Parece que eu vi alguém lá, cara.
As they got closer, they realized it was a clown performing what appeared to be a sinister ritual. They observed quietly until the clown suddenly noticed them.
What a stupid thing to do. If I saw candles there, I'd turn and go the other way. I wouldn't even bother to sit standing around. Over there, they have so many witches and evil worshippers and all that stuff that it seems like you can't go 2 feet without seeing a pentagram or candles or some crap.
Fortunately, the group managed to escape unharmed. A family was enjoying a peaceful day camping in the Canadian forest when something unusual caught their attention.
Run!
This is another thing I hate. They start running. They don't have the camera on their head or somewhere stable. So you get this blurred thingo effect that no one can really tell what the hell it is.
Suddenly, the creature spotted them and let out terrifying growls. Despite its massive size, it moved swiftly in their direction. Panicked, the family ran for their lives with the intense chase captured on video. The cab state has a colorful history, having served as a retirement home for Freemasons, a retreat for Catholic nuns, and even a real estate venture by the host's brother. It's also surrounded by rumors of satanic rituals and white supremacist activities. Determined to uncover the truth, a group set out to explore the abandoned mansion and hike through the nearby forest. During their investigation, they encountered something unsettling.
There you are. Hey. What? I don't even.
This is where the use of night vision cameras would come in handy. Oh look, another panning reader. Woohoo.
Walking through, we see a group standing around in a circle. Two of them laughing for no reason. We start walking. We see one pop up behind a bush, just standing there, straight staring at us. Then the group, all in a circle, starts looking.
Looks like part of his ear is just hanging and flapping around, and he's got an earring there. Do you know the meaning of earrings? If it's in your right ear, you're gay. If it's in your left ear, you're a rocker. If it's in both ears, you're a gay rocker. It also means you're a slave. Because back in slaving days, if a person bought someone, they would pierce their ears. So they would put earrings in their ears to mark them as their slave. So, yeah.
And that's why we walk by them. And then they start following us as we walk by them. So we all got our shit out right now.
Following this eerie moment, they continued to hear strange noises and felt as though they were being followed.
Is that them? Yeah. Alright. I'm coming up. I'm cool.
I'm not sticking up. I feel like they surrounded us.
Get up.
You just say, get up.
Nigga, run! Yeah, I'm not saying run.
Run, Butch, run! See, Butch, run.
Fleeing in fear, they paused to recap the night before deciding to head home.
It was more so dealing with people than dealing with spirits. We definitely ran across what?
I like the church, the torch on his shoulder. That's pretty cool.
A ritual?
Yeah, we don't know what it is. We tried to talk to the spirits. We got a little bit of activity, not too much. They weren't very responsive, but we did run into some, the least I can say is some interesting individuals.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I don't always fuck with interesting
individuals. Anyway, they definitely were out there worshiping something. They were standing around in a circle when we walked by them the first time. Some dude was literally standing by a bush like this, staring at us, and everybody was just watching us walk by, and they went completely silent. And before we walked up to them, they were like, get him with the light.
people with the lights.
Definitely don't recommend coming. And they're standing in the middle of pitch blackness, like just straight dark. Definitely don't recommend coming out to the cop center alone. It's not a safe spot. Just make sure you equip.
One thing is certain, they'll never return to this place, and perhaps neither should you. Over 3 years ago, YouTuber Zach Katoum, known for capturing fish and snakes, uploaded a video of his adventure into an abandoned underground city in search of a python, alone, or so he thought.
So before I get too deep in here, I just want to let y'all know I'm looking for snakes right now, or pythons. And honestly,
If you don't know, a python is not dangerous. They mostly eat rats and mice and keep the vermin out of your house, mostly. But they've got 9 rows of needle-sharp teeth, and the way they get you is they wrap around you. When you breathe out, they tighten up. And they get to the point where you can't breathe, and you suffocate to death. They don't use venom. So as long as one doesn't bite you, as long as one doesn't wrap around you, you're pretty safe.
oh no, this place is huge.
As he ventured deeper into the tunnels, Zach became visibly unnerved by the eerie atmosphere.
What? Hello?
See that flash of the light there? I'll go back a little. He moves his light to the left,
Guys,
and another light comes up.
it's really creepy in here. And it's really big. Hello? God, there's so much going on. Hello?
The upside down cross came about in Jesus' time. One of his disciples wanted to be crucified upside down because he didn't think that he was worthy of Jesus.
Wish me luck, guys. I gotta show up.
He recorded voices and strange sounds echoing through the dark. To avoid being noticed, he turned off his light. Once the noises stopped, he decided it was safest to cut his search short and leave. However, upon reviewing the footage later, he noticed something unsettling.
What the heck? It's leaking outside from somewhere. What? Hello?
As he hears a noise beside him and turns, the camera captures a figure standing motionless in the next room, staring directly at him. Zach hadn't seen it at the time, but he remembers feeling a strange presence in the dark.
Remember I said that there was someone else there?